Hi there, and welcome to day 25 of the Inktober Tangle Challenge. My name is Martha, and I am so happy you're here to draw along with me today. So, as usual, I'll be doing two tiles. I'll be drawing the Zentangle first in the more traditional way, and then I will go a little bit in another direction, as you see here on this second tile. So, um, a big difference between the two, but a lot of fun, both of them. So let's get started here. So I'm slowing this video down a little bit to walk you through a few of the steps. It can be a little bit confusing, but to start off, it's simple, just a zigzag line, and I'm going from one corner to the opposite corner. And then I'm turning my tile so that the zigzag line is vertical in front of me. And I'm going to start on the right point and then draw down to the lower line, and I'm drawing to the middle of it. So I'm starting on the right, drawing down to the middle of the line below. And then of course the bottom and the top, I am just drawing just a small portion of those triangles. So the bottom part of that triangle right there. Now we're going to draw some diagonal lines on the left side. So I'm starting at the top of that zigzag, and then I'm drawing down to the middle of the line below. So top, and then just drawing where I imagine that line would go. Okay, so that top triangle, what I'm going to try to do is extend a line down, next triangle, extend the line down to the right. So we have some very small triangles that we're adding. And of course, I'm going to draw that there, even though I don't see the rest of the drawing. And then coming to the left side, extending that line down and extending that one. This tangle was a little tricky for me the first few times I tried it, so take your time, go back and watch if you need to until you feel comfortable with it. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit and show you what I'm going to do to the inside of these triangles. I'm first going to start by drawing a curve, a little ladybug, and then do the same thing on the inside of all the sides of the triangle. So 1, 2, and 3, and do that to all of the triangles. All right, now that those are finished, I'm going to fill in an orb at the center of those spaces, the center of those triangles, and then add some black ink around the orb. So an orb in the middle, and then all the negative space filled with ink. And lastly, I'm going to add a little bit of graphite here, get some shading onto this tangle. And I'm doing it at these kind of like outside points where all these triangles come together. So out there, so I have 2 or 3 on each side. And when I got done shading, I noticed this empty space at the bottom, and it just really bothered me. So I just tried to mimic an area above it, which is what I thought I would see. And I filled it in with a few curves and, of course, the orb and the ink. And there we go. That is the Inktangle, and it is Inktober Tangles 2025, day 25, and I wrote day 24, which is funny. I don't know, maybe at this point I'm getting a little uh, mixed up with my days, but nonetheless, that is the Tangle, and we are on day 25. So moving on to another variation of this tangle, I've gotten a black Zentangle tile, and I'm using a white jelly roll pen in a size 8. I'm drawing a large zigzag across the Zentangle tile. It's pretty large. Pretty large. I've turned my tiles so that the line is vertical. I know it looks a little diagonal here, but I'm starting on the right side and I'm drawing down to the middle of the line below. And at the bottom, just draw what you can see. And then at the top, again, draw what you can see. And we're now going to switch over to the left side and draw from the outside point down to the middle of the line below. So outside point, middle of the line below. I'm just turning my tile a little bit slightly to the right. I'm going to be drawing another set of straight lines. It's almost like I'm extending this line right here under that triangle and then out below to that point. Okay, and then this one, just imagine where it would go. So just extending down to that point. And now I'm going to do the same thing to the left side. These lines don't line up as well, so I'm just going to draw from the middle there down to the outside point. So these just don't line up. It's just the way my zigzag was drawn, and I'm just not even worried about it. Just going to draw 3 little triangles right there. And then at the top here, I'm going to draw 1 more. Okay, so that is the first step of the Inktangle, and I'm actually not going to do much else to it. When I was kind of thinking about this tile and planning it out, when I was playing around with different things, something that came to mind for me was a place where I have spent the last few summers, and that is Glacier National Park out in Montana. And I saw a mountain range here going across this Zentangle tile. And so I decided to kind of lean into that. I don't usually draw recognizable things in my tangles. I really like the abstract nature of just repeating lines and shapes to make intricate patterns. But I, just wanted to switch it up a little bit and just explore making this into something that had memories for me. So all I'm doing here is auraing inside of the tangles. So just drawing a smaller triangle inside each of the areas. In the area of my tile that I am calling the sky, that is going to be behind my mountain range, I'm going to be drawing another tangle by Zentangle ink called a ruckus. So I'm starting with a circle, and then I'm going to extend 5 sets of parallel lines from that circle all the way out to the edge of that space. So either intersecting with the mountain range or with the edge of the paper. And this is where it gets fun. I'm now going to aura the circle between the parallel lines. So just a little curve, and then in the next section, a little curve, and then another curve between those, in those and here. And then I'm going to go back to the straight lines and I'm going to aura the outside and the outside. And then turn my tile and aura the next set. This is a lovely tangle. It's one of my favorites. I don't use it too often, but I absolutely love it. But I will say that there's a lot of turning of the tile with this one because you're going around that circle. And I always do this tangle until there's no space left. So some people stop kind of midway, so it looks like a sun with rays coming out of it. But if you keep going and pushing it, it takes on a star look, which is really neat. So just auraing straight lines and then creating an aura line of the circle. And you just repeat that over and over until that space is filled or until you've filled up what you want. The final tangle I'm using on this tile is called cogwheel, and it starts out with just a bumpy line, wavy line that you loop back around to where you started, but you don't close it off. Instead, you just keep going around and around and around, and you're drawing an aura inside the space until you get to the center, and then you just stop. This tangle I think I've probably drawn twice in my 13 years of tangling. Don't know why, I really love it. As soon as I practiced it a few times, I was like, oh, this is such a great tangle because it's so versatile. I mean, it really will fit into any space you need it to. So I think this could be a really good filler tangle, or like background tangle for a tile. So I'm just kind of turning and starting at various places. So I start out, draw a little bumpy line, and then loop back close to where I started, and then just aura that line on the inside. This tangle very much reminds me of a topographic map. And when I was choosing it, I definitely wanted something that kind of mimicked or represented the land below this mountain range. So it's kind of turned out to be the perfect tangle. So I'm adding one last cogwheel tangle in here and just filling in all the space that's left. Just a very organic space. And I have to say it was very relaxing to watch myself draw around and around and around like that. Okay, and looking at this, I noticed that my eye kept going to that black space up in the sky, and so I decided to fill it in. And so I went back to the ruckus tangle and auraed those straight lines and then the little curve. And I don't know if you remember me saying, it can look like a sun, but then it can also look like a star when you fill it all the way out like this, because it has those points radiating from it. Very cool tangle. I'm using a white charcoal pencil to add some highlights to the tangles, and for the ruckus tangle, I'm going around those points. So it's almost like a night's, a star. So this is a night scene instead of a sun, which is what I usually see in this tangle. But I'm just shading on the edges of those long extending kind of arms. For the Inktangle, I'm going up to the tops of those peaks and just being pretty heavy-handed with the charcoal and just filling up that top area. And then I'm adding a little bit in those little crevices. I was thinking about if snow were falling, where it might collect. And then for the cogwheel tangle, I'm just choosing kind of one side and just adding some chalk to it. Just kind of going with the contours of the lines, um, but just filling in one portion of the tangle. Now taking my tortillon and blending that charcoal into the fibers of the paper, which really does lighten it up. I'm always kind of amazed at how much chalk I feel like I'm putting down on the papers, and then when I start to blend it in, it kind of goes away. I think it's just the nature of the charcoal. I'm really noticing this harsh edge that's on my Inktangle. So what I'm going to do is actually use the back end of my tortillon and use it kind of as an eraser, if you will. But really what I'm doing is just kind of smudging and softening using a part of the tortillon that doesn't have any chalk on it. Because if I use the other end, it would just add um, more white chalk to the area. So this is kind of how I erase things sometimes. You know, we don't use erasers in, when we tangle. We don't use them in Zentangle. It's not part of the method because there are no mistakes, which I 100% support. But sometimes I want to take away a little, and that's my little trick for that. All right, so that is day 25. I can't believe we are so close to the end. Only 6 more tangles to go. So we are on 25, and this is the ing tangle. And then the other two are arucus and cogwheel. And gotta add my chop. And I have one little request. I would love to know in the comments below what you all thought of today's drawing. Did you like drawing something that's more recognizable, or do you prefer the more abstract designs created with various tangles? I'm just curious. Just drop a little comment below. And also, thank you so much for watching, supporting, subscribing. It means everything to me. So thank you, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.